Hey everyone, it's Kothis, and now that we're more than midway through the Witch Queen's final season, it's time to prepare for Lightfall. And just a disclaimer, you don't have to do anything in this video if you don't want to. If you don't want to touch Destiny until Lightfall's launch, that's totally fine. But maybe you're someone that just wants to catch up on some stuff that you've missed out on, or maybe you want that extra edge going into Lightfall, or maybe you just want to be as over-prepared as possible and want to have everything done. Whichever category you fall into, this video is for you. I will chapter out this video so you can easily skip to sections that fit to exactly what you're looking for, or you can watch it all the way through. It's completely up to you. Either way, let's get right into it. Let's start off with all of the expiring stuff, just so you know what's going to be leaving the game once Lightfall comes out. First, we've got quite a few weapons and weapon sets that will be leaving the game, most likely. If Lightfall is anything like previous expansions, all seasonal weapons and armor, as well as any world drop weapons, will be gone at launch. If you haven't checked it out already, I do have a 3-part series going over the best methods for how to craft every single weapon available in the game right now. So if you're looking to craft a specific one, go check out those videos. So yeah, everything at the helm will be wiped completely clean for a new set of vendors, new weapons over the year of Lightfall. Your vendor engrams will also be leaving the game, so make sure to decrypt all of those as well. So think Crucible, Trials, Gambit, Iron Banner, and so on. Season 20 will be bringing the Vanguard engram system to the current standards, FYI. But yeah, what I'm doing is saving all of my engrams until like the last day of the season, since you get access to the multi-trait weapons after multiple resets at a vendor. If you didn't know that, that is how it works. And speaking of vendors, quite a few of their items will be rotating out as well. I'll put the ones rotating out on screen here, so make sure to grab any of these if you're still missing them, or if you just want to find a good god roll for any of them. Also, anything seasonal story based and quest related will be gone. So heist runs, nightmare containment, and so on, yep, out of the game. The Witch Queen campaign will be staying. Obviously, all campaigns are in the game forever. And next, your battle pass. Lots of materials in here that you can earn to help you easily max out your gear and crafted weapons. So try to get to level 100 if you've got enough time for it. And as for your seasonal challenges, obviously these will be leaving the game as well. Season of the Seraph challenges have tons of Bright Dust, XP, and upgrade materials that you'll need to help you craft all of these Seraph and Ecolos weapons at the Exo frame and the helm. And all of your seasonal seals will be moved into the legacy section of the Triumphs area, making them no longer earnable. If you are a completionist or just like getting titles, you still have time to get these done, so go do it. And speaking of your seals, if you're looking to guild any of these, make sure to do so. Guilding isn't important to some people. A lot of people just don't really care about it. But if you like seeing that number go up next to your favorite title, guild some of those seals that you like. So your Conqueror, Flawless, Dredgen, Deadeye, etc. There's a lot of them. There's also a couple things that I'm not really sure if they'll be leaving the game or not. Revision 0 being one of them. It's probably still going to be obtainable, but I'm not sure if the Operation Seraph Shield mission will stay in the game. So obtaining this gun might be a bit different once Lightfall releases. But it's a really great and unique weapon. You've got time to do it, so just go run it. And make sure to get all of its catalysts as well. Just follow the seasonal storyline and you'll get it just fine. Don't have people to run the mission with? That's fine. Join my Discord. We run it all the time. Alright, next, let's move on to some important stuff that you should probably take the time to do. If you don't really care about the stuff leaving the game, then this is a good section to start with. So with a new expansion where we will most likely be getting 50 plus new weapons, tons of new armor, items, and so on, just clean your vault. If you're over 550 items especially, try to get to 450 or less. I've been playing this game for thousands of hours and I'm able to do every single piece of content in the entire game, and I usually have 350 items or less after a good vault cleaning. There's no reason why you should be pushing 600 in your vault. Just dedicate an hour or two, decide to be ruthless, and get that number down. We've got better stuff on the way anyway. And the last thing I'll say on the vault cleaning stuff, there are some major changes happening in Lightfall with our mods and armor. Mod affinity types are going away entirely. So for example, there won't be any need for you to have a solar item to slot Explosive Wellmaker anymore. You'll actually be able to slot it on any piece you want. It's pretty cool. And moving on, power level is normally an item that I'd put on the important list, but will most likely all be automatically raised up to the new minimum power, kind of like how 1350 is the current minimum right now. Next, start clearing out that massive quest log. We're kind of approaching that slow point in the season where there's really no new missions or anything coming out, so now is a great time to start getting all of that stuff done. And speaking of quests, if you have not completed all of the stasis aspects and fragments, just do it. Start it now. You can visit the Exo Stranger on Europa, and she'll let you complete a couple quests each week to fully unlock the Stasis subclass, and the same sentiment goes for all of the Light subclasses, which are much easier to unlock. With Strand coming out next month, it's a good idea to just fully unlock all subclasses and learn how they work so you can, again, just only focus on learning the new subclass for when Lightfall comes out, because Strand, it's going to be a beast from what I've seen so far. Just go talk to Ikora at the tower and start purchasing all of those grenades and fragments for Glimmer. Another thing I would say is pretty important is you should start to get some builds set up for yourself. And yes, I know mods and builds will be changing in Lightfall, but a lot of the core systems and mechanics are going to remain pretty similar. Just getting really good at understanding every aspect of a build that you make will literally change the way that you play the game, and it becomes way more fun. Just seeing all the pieces of your build come together is incredibly satisfying. And good builds cannot be created without the right exotic armor. So whether you're just trying to complete your exotic library, get that perfect stat exotic, or just find the one exotic that you haven't been able to get yet, Lost Sector farming is your friend. Getting good at running these will not only speed up your runs, so obviously you get more exotics more quickly, but it will also make you a much better player by being able to clear champion level content on your own. It's really good practice. So get some builds set up, get all the rotations down, understand all the mods, and you're going to be a really solid player by Lightfall. Next, let's cover some good PvE exotic weapons that you should get. Nothing has changed too much since the Season 19 prep guide that I did, but let's just rapid fire these so you know what's important. Wishender and Arbalist are great for anti-barrier. I use them all the time. And Witherhoard and Osteostriga are insanely good kinetic ad clear weapons. Go get your divinity from that awesome Garden of Salvation raid. All the exotic bows, Trinity Ghoul, Lay Monarch, Tiku's Divination, and even the new Hierarchy of Needs are all very good bows. Galahorn, obvious choice, nothing else needs to be said. Thunderlord, amazing ad clear weapon. Xenophage, another weapon I bring to a lot of raids. Grand Overture and Parasite have both seen a lot more play now, with Grand Overture's buff being some of the best burst DPS options in the entire game. And you've got the Lament as well, which I use when fighting bosses like Galran in the Duality Dungeon. There are others too, these are the ones that I just use all the time. These are my favorite PvE exotics. Alright, next let's cover some stuff that's kind of important. Getting a nice variety of weapons will be really helpful to you and will allow you to be ready for any situation thrown at you. Start with weapons like scout rifles, pulse rifles, and bows. These three weapons are almost always in the artifact, so they're really good against champions. So getting good trait rolls on each affinity type can be a goal that you can try to hit. Of course, this applies to other weapon types as well. It's just always good to have options. And yes, I do have some really good craftable weapon recommendations for you to try to hunt down. These are, in my opinion, the MVPs of the entire year for legendary weapons. We'll start with Season of the Risen. Peace of Mind with Perpetual Motion and Moving Target for Crucible, it's amazing. Forbearance, Cataclysmic, Deliverance from the Vow of the Disciple raid are also standouts. I use them all the time. The Forbearance with Unrelenting and Chain Reaction is just great for ad clear. The Cataclysmic with Bait and Switch and Triple Tap, great for boss damage. And moving on to Season of the Haunted, probably the overall MVP of the entire year would have to be the Callus Mini Tool in my opinion. It's just so strong with Solar, Throw On, Threat Detector, and Incandescent, and just have fun watching everything scorch to death. Season of the Haunted also brought us the Drang, which dominated PvP for a good portion of the year, and it's still really good. Season of Plunder brought us the Tarnished Metal, which is a great scout rifle that launched alongside the Volt Shot trait. I have taken this into GMs. It's really good with Demolitionist and Volt Shot. And as for the Dares weapons, you've got the BXR Battler and the other half Sword. The other half never leaves my inventory since it makes traversing areas just so easy. It's a lot of fun to move around with Eager Edge. King's Fall, we've got Doom of Chelchis and Defiance of Yasmin. These are two weapons that I really liked out of this raid. Doom, also another great GM weapon with One for All and Explosive Payload. Really good for just getting more damage. And for the world drops, you probably already have this one, but if you didn't max out your Taipan Linear Fusion Rifle with Triple Tap and Firing Line, what are you even doing? This is really good for boss DPS. It's so easy to make. You need like one pattern for it. Next, the Ikelos SMG is basically the Arc variant of the Callus mini tool. It almost never leaves my side while I'm running Arc with Feeding Frenzy and Volt Shot. It's seriously just such a great weapon. And finishing up, we've got the Deepstone Crypt weapons. I think the Heritage Shotgun with Reconstruction and Firing Line and Trusty with Reconstruction Incandescent have to be the best out of this bunch. But let me know what you guys think. And as I mentioned, every single one of these weapons that I mentioned here are craftable. They're just so good, so make sure to get these weapons before Lightfall if possible. And remember, I do have guides on all of these weapons for the best methods to obtain them, so go check that out. And don't feel bad if you can't get these weapons, like don't feel like you're too far behind or anything like that. We're gonna have some really awesome weapons coming with Lightfall, so if you can't do it, no worries. All right, let's wrap up this medium importance section with some materials that you should try to start saving up if you can. It's never fun if you need to masterwork some armor, but you don't have any Ascendant Shards or Enhancement Prisms, which is the case for a lot of new players. So make sure to run those Grandmasters to get lots of those, especially if it's a double reward week. Weapon crafting will continue to be massively important in Lightfall, and you know some good weapons are on the way. Having some Ascendant Alloy hanging around as well as a full relic tether of 10,000 elements will make one less thing for you to worry about once all the new content drops. Legendary Shards. Yes, these are really tough to get right now with all of the engram focusing options we've got. I am pretty much always low on these, but I'm trying to get to Lightfall with about 3,000, so that's a good goal to go for. Obviously, more if you can. Legendary Shards are used for pretty much everything in the game, so having a good stock will be really helpful. I would say at least 1,000. Don't go below that. And as for Glimmer, it's pretty easy to max out, so don't worry about that. All right, let's move on to the lower priority items now. If you only have one character and are getting kind of bored with it, start a new character. With how much customization there is to builds now, creating an entirely new class will make the game really feel fresh again. Each class plays very differently to one another, and they each have their own important place in the game. So the more playstyles and roles you can master, the more you're going to be able to help your fire team. And you shouldn't feel pressured to play each character equally. That's a really big misconception that I see. Just play how you want, but it's just good to have 3 characters ready. And once you have a character at a high power level, it's really easy to level up your alt characters because you can just transfer all the weapons over, making leveling a breeze. Next, if you're missing any exotic catalysts, or maybe you just haven't completed them yet, get some of those good ones done. The Shirochi checkpoint in the Last Wish raid is good. It just gets really old after a while, so if you're just looking for another area to get catalysts done, I actually kind of like running the Altars of Sorrow on the moon. So go ahead and give that a shot. Tons of enemies. It's a really good spot if you're just looking to turn off your brain and get some catalyst progress done. And finally, I'd say go run some raids, some dungeons, GMs. If you've been out of the game for a while or are brand new to it, this is a good way to actually get good at the game instead of just mindlessly steamrolling Vanguard strikes or something like that. And now we've reached the Overachiever tier. Got everything done with this video and still don't know what to do? Good. Your first goal is to fill up all 3 of your characters' postmasters with 10 Ascendant Shards and 50 Enhancement Prisms each, totaling your account to 40 Ascendant Shards and 200 Enhancement Prisms. Run those Grandmasters on each character and you'll be there in just a few days. And if you've already hit this number, you can go super crazy with it and start masterworking regular low stat exotic armor. When you dismantle this armor, it actually gives you 1 Ascendant Shard back, so it's a net loss of 2 shards, but it's better than the Postmaster throwing them away if you're full. And I feel like this goes without saying, but obviously masterwork your good armor first. Use your shards if you need them, obviously. All right, next, I'd normally say to get 30 to 40 extra red border weapons completed and just put them in your vault as a relic element backlogged. But if you didn't know, Bungie will be changing the red border drops in Lightfall. Only craftable weapons will drop as red borders. This is a great change, not random weapons. So just to be safe, I'm not going to waste my time stacking these since they might just lose their red border when Lightfall comes out. But what you can do is you can save Ascendant Alloy. You can max out at 10 of these, so do what you need to do to get there so you can get those enhanced traits added to all the new weapons right away. Master Wellspring, Nightmare Containment, Master Catch Crash are just a few of the ways to get these, and Master Rahul will also allow you to get 1 per week for 400 legendary shards as well. Are you a checklist / completionist like me? Start working on those random triumphs that you haven't completed yet. The class and subclass triumphs are mega grindy, but I actually found while completing them, I was getting better at really mastering every aspect of that subclass. So these are good. There are also raid seals that you could try to get if you like the challenge. Lots of checklist style stuff available to you in the game if that's what you want to do. And finally, we will finish up with bounty prep. Weekly bounties give a lot more XP than daily bounties, so it's best to start completing those weekly bounties now. If you can get all 3 characters bounties full, you can usually get to around level 20 to 25 in your battle pass moments after the new content drops. This will not only level your battle pass, but it will also get you 10 to 12 artifact unlocks before you even start the campaign, which if the Lightfall Legend campaign is anything like Witch Queens, it's not going to be easy, so we'll need all the help we can get. And that is the best way to prepare for Lightfall that I've found. Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments. I'll try and pin something really important if it comes up. I really hope this helped. I know it's a lot of information. If you have any more questions, of course, I will always promote my Discord. Make sure to join using the link in the description. We'd love to help you out. We're going to be talking about Lightfall a lot when it comes out. Anyways, I'm going to end this video. I know it's long already, so I will see you in the next video.